Hello guys, today we are going to talk about adaptability. The adaptability is a hidden skill that defines how well a player will play when you play him out of his favorite position. The higher the adaptability, the less penalized the player will be on his skills. There are two ways to discover a player's adaptability. One is free, the other one is paid. Later I will tell you both of them. When a player is out of his favorite position, you see a smiley face like this in the player's name. If I put him in his favorite position, which is like here or here, nothing appears. But if I put him here, the smiley face appears. See? You can see four different faces here, according to how far the player is from his favorite position. This one, for example, is placed in his favorite position now. In this case, he has two. He can play as a right midfielder or as a left midfielder. This one cannot play here. See? That's why he got a smiley face. After I move him to other positions, he will have smiley faces. See? Depending on where I put him. Let's go to the user guide to understand what these smiley faces mean. Here you go to the advanced, then player skills, and after it opens, you look for the adaptability section. And here there is some explanation about adaptability, and you see the legend for the smiley faces. If you see this one, the player can lose up to 10% of his skills, depending on the adaptability level. This one corresponds to 20% at most, this one up to 30, and this one up to 40%. Back to the tactics page, I see that if I put this guy here or here, he gets no penalty at all, because I see no smiley face. If I put him to play here, or here, or here, or here, any of these, I get this first smiley face, which means that he is penalized in up to 10%. Then I can put him as a center midfielder, or as a left back, or a right back, and now he is getting at most 20% penalty. Then I can put him here, or here. In these two places, he can get up to 30%. And finally, if I put him as a center back or as a striker, he will get up to 40% because here we are the farthest from his favorite positions. Besides having good adaptability, the player should also have good skills for the position, otherwise, he will play badly anyway. This player, for example, he is the one I was moving around, he has good skills for many positions. If he has good adaptability, he could play as a center midfielder, for example. He has good passing, good work rate, crossing, positioning, some finishing skills. But he would be a bad center back, for example. His marking and tackling are not so low, he has very low heading. Understand? This script that I use on this page also allows me to see a table down here, rating R5 table, no, not this one, but this one, in which they show me what is his R5 for each position. See? Then you see that for his favorite position, he is like this. In this one, he would play even better than his favorite position if he had no penalty for the adaptability. And you can see how he would play for every position. Okay? There are five and a recommendation. If you want to know more about scripts, check the playlist you see here in the cards, which is dedicated for this topic. Now let me tell you what are the two ways to know a player's adaptability. One is a free way, which is you simply play the player out of his favorite position in different matches. Then you see what will be his average rating, if he has good production. Then you decide whether he's playing well or not in this new position. This is a practical way to find out, but it can be costly, as if you play a player who has low adaptability, he will play badly and he will compromise your team's results. But the free way is this one. Another way is a paid one, which is when you activate his hidden skills. As I told you, adaptability is a hidden skill. This one. In this player, I didn't pay for it, so I don't know his adaptability, his aggression, any of his hidden skills. But if I click here and then I click here, I can pay 2 Pro Days to find out his hidden skills, okay? But for this player, I'm not interested in that. However, I have these hidden skills available in some of my other players. Let me show you some of them. I will open different ones, then you can see different levels of adaptability. If you want to know more about this information you see about the player on this page, check this video using the cards in which I explain each of these options. This guy is one of the ones in my team who have the highest adaptability. Look, he has 19 out of 20. So I can, and based on his skills, I can practically play him in any position I want, except for goalkeeper. You cannot play outfield players as goalkeeper, and you cannot play goalkeepers as outfield players. I have other guy who has 19 in adaptability too, but for an example, I will show just this one. I had in the past a player with 20-20 here, so he will play in many positions without getting any penalty. Currently my highest one has 19. This is other one that I have, but he doesn't have such a high adaptability, just 15. Not that bad too. In an emergency I could use him. For example, his R5 for a midfielder center is good. It's not his favorite position, but I could play him there. Okay. I would avoid because his adaptability is not so high, but I could. He has good skills for most positions on the field. This other guy, he's even in the national team. This symbol means that he could play in any position, basically, if I wanted, but he has low adaptability, so I wouldn't consider him to be played out of his natural position. He has two as well. If you check the R5 table, he also have high evaluations for all positions. But this low adaptability makes him unable to play anywhere else. There are even worse situations like this guy, for example. In his favorite positions, he's good. See his R5 and his skills. He could be played as a center midfielder, for example. Look, his R5 is high, but his adaptability is the lowest possible, is 1. Okay? So he will get the maximum of those penalties we talked about before. 10%, 20%, 30, 40, depending on his where I put him. A player with 20 adaptability will not get any penalty regardless of where you put him, while a player with 1 will always get the maximum penalty, as this guy for example. And players who have between 1 and 20 will get more or less penalty according to how much adaptability they have. The highest the adaptability, the lowest the penalty. That's all for this video guys. If you have questions, write them down below. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. See you soon.